Hi, good to see you just in time for your Sagittarius September 2020 tarot reading and forecast. I'm Nigel Saint James, as you probably know. It's great to see you subscribers back again. Always look forward to seeing you. And of course, I've done some personal readings for you, haven't I, over the course of the last month, which you've enjoyed and which I've enjoyed providing to you. And of course, if you'd like to have your own personal clairvoyant reading one-on-one with me, then just check out the information that's in the description box below and you'll get to see how easy it is to make that happen. Now, let's see, Sagittarius September 2020 tarot reading. What have we got here? Look, the artist in this deck, incidentally, has provided a Sagittarius card, which we'll have a look at in just a moment. The deck developer artist is no longer going to print this deck. It's finished, it's sold out, and it's never going to be sold again except on a second-hand market. There's the Two of Swords. Now, I understand from people who know these things that the second-hand price of this deck, there's the Queen of Wands, has gone through the roof as people want to get their hands on it because it's now really a museum piece. So it's, even though it's relatively new, I think it came out a couple of years ago, there was a limited run, and I'm not surprised that everybody wants it. It was given to me by a witch, I suppose you would call her, and she said quite rightly, there's the Chariot, that it would have a good resonance with me. Well, as in so many other things, she was absolutely correct. And let's see what there is. God, I love the art on that card there. There's the Knight of Swords. You are going to love this. This is going to be a great month for you. Very interesting indeed. Beautiful, beautiful art. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Oh, and you're going to get something out of this too. There, look at the colors in this. This is the moon, incidentally. You are going to find out now what is in store for you, Sagittarius, for September 2020. So come around here, sit down next to me, have a look at these cards while I do the reading for you. Okay, Sagittarius, I said I'd show you this Sagittarius astrology card that the artist has done. I don't have any decks that have astrology cards in them. This is what the back of the card looks like, incidentally. Sometimes people like to see what the back of tarot cards look like. But here, for our purpose now, I'll just quickly give you a look at this card, because I said I would. And here is the image that the artist has done of Sagittarius. Well, traditionally, the centaur is about trying to transcend one's animal nature. It's what you turn yourself into rather than what you were born as. It's how you develop intellectually, in your character, in your spirit. It's a sign of curiosity, an immense curiosity about all things. Now, the archery aspect is about honing the mind, creating a kind of accuracy. It's also about pursuit, I think. I think that this card is asking you to find everything's context. Every time you think you have a good view, pan back, make the scene larger, and expand all horizons. And why don't we pan back and expand our horizons at this time? I'll dispose of this now because you've seen it. Now, let's have a look. Well, let me have a look at this spread of yours. Very interesting. I think what there is that there's some underlying anxiety going on here, something which is going to bring in a lot of thought. There's then going to be a resolution of the anxiety for you. There's going to be a moving forward, and then you'll be making a very powerful impression. So things are going to end out well, and the anxiety, the lack of clarity, I think, that you have with relation to something is going to disappear. Let me now go through why I think that is the case by looking at this first major arcana card of the moon and see what it has to tell you. Well, for me it is Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. This is the ruler of the flux and reflux, the child of the sons of the mighty. Neptune in Pisces. Well, Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition, and with artistry. This is, incidentally, the last of the major arcana which, for me, at any rate, have a zodiac sign, associated with them. Now, Neptune in Pisces, I say, well, Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, with visions, and the imagination, which puts it in line, I think, with the qualities of the moon. I think that this is suggesting a time when something in your life is not as it appears to be, a situation that is deceiving. You may be lost in life and unsure about which way to go, lost in the dark with no signposts telling you which way to head. Often this represents the shadow self, subconscious or hidden self, harboring negativity that you have suppressed, or maybe not even be aware of. There is a need here to release this destructive energy. Now, sometimes feelings from childhood have been the root cause of this, and they represent the source of this negativity, and they can have an impact on your current situation. Now, you may well have heard of the call of the unknown. You are on the threshold of a new experience. Pay attention now to the voice of your heart and scrutinize calmly and carefully the offers of assistance and guidance you may now receive. Now, this card, I suppose, can be interpreted in a number of different ways, but in this deck, with this energy now moving out, and with this Chariot on the same line as it and next to the Knight of Swords, I think I'm compelled to interpret it for you like this, that it could represent what might appear to you to be something of a bleak time in the journey, and that can sometimes be considered as a dark night of the soul. This phrase is interesting, I suppose, when considered in the context of this picture. Let's have a look at it again. Because the light of the sun shines and is reflected by the moon, so it's not all darkness. And it is the consciousness of the central figure that is partly clouded, I think. I think what we can also say about this is that this is about you focusing on learning to be at peace during times of sorrow or absence and the darkness of unknowing. In order to accomplish this, you have to keep your heart open so that you have the compassion and the holding to also keep your heart open to the larger situation. Now, you won't be protected by putting on armor. It is in being centered and open that you will perceive the situation more clearly and recognize what needs to be done. Now, the presence of the female figure in this card tells me that this is something of a feminine process that's going on here. In some ways, the message might be thought to be similar to that of the Hanged Man, another card in the Tarot. You may be familiar with it. And that is generally depicted as a male hanging upside down or turning upside down, the masculine principles of being in charge and leading with the rational mind. Whereas the darkness here may involve a similar suspension of life as you know it, yet this process is decidedly feminine. And that's okay even if you're a man, because we all have an aspect of the feminine within us. It's just that the masculine predominates. But this feminine process is a watery, fluid process related to feelings and to waiting something out. The lesson here, I think, is to wait and to listen. In order to listen to the subtleties of your feelings and perceptions, you need inner quiet. When your emotions are running rampant, you cannot hear the whispers of the small, still voice within. You particularly need to learn how to keep your fears and insecurities in check. And unless you can bracket these feelings, they will distort your perception. I think this card and this energy is inviting you to relate to the changes in your life that are occurring at the moment as skillfully as possible, with a sense of balance, with inner strength, and with trust. Avoid jumping to conclusions and getting caught in unnecessary drama. Peace in the darkness doesn't come with making things larger than life, and you will be having peace, and I'll get to that in a moment. Rather than making things larger than life, let the noise quiet down and abide in inner stillness. When you sit with what is, accepting things unconditionally, surrendering into them, peace can come. Now, your challenge may be to come to peace with changes or difficulties that you have not chosen. There may be things that are going on in the economy around you or in the society around you. Or it could be a major loss in your life, a period of darkness, or the more ongoing flux represented by the cyclic changes of the moon. The moon rules fluids, by the way, and incidentally, in some traditions, the menstrual cycle is referred to as a woman's moon cycle. Your challenge is to live in harmony with all of these rhythms. And during periods of change, you may experience your feelings as confusing, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Can you allow the confusion to simply be there? One feeling following and seeming to contradict the last. It helps if you can keep the perspective that these are simply feelings, and that feelings change. They are like clouds moving across the sky. If you can identify with the more spacious nature of the sky, the feelings will not be so disturbing at all. Well, let's have a look now quickly at this second card. I'm running up this line here. This is the Knight of Swords. Now, I have to tell you, around this Knight of Swords, I have a great deal of Aquarius and Capricorn around here, so those people may be important to you. This person here is, I think, part mystic and part scholar. She, because it can be, the court cards can be cross-gender, or he has a penetrating intellect whose greatest delight is to explore the mysteries. This may be through a particular field such as science or mathematics or philosophy, or quite likely by using the knowledge of several fields to bring them together to create something new. This person here is one who can hold the big picture together, and we were talking about that big picture here, weren't we, in this moon card? And they can allow the complexities of various systems interacting to come together and articulate what to do in a way that makes things understandable, and understandable where it previously was unable to be explained. Now, not everyone has the brilliance like you do to create new models for yourself as to how life works. But you have the underlying foundation of an inquiring mind. You can always be curious, eager to investigate whatever you come into contact with. Now, rather than taking things on other people's authority or just on faith, you can take a more experimental or scientific type of approach to it. One of the more interesting places to apply this is the arena of your beliefs, since your reality is to a large extent organized by the beliefs you hold. Exploring your beliefs is like examining the structures which create your world. Now, while there are many cards, I suppose, in tarot that can encourage you to go with your feelings, this card here is in particular encouraging you at the moment to use that inquiring mind of you. It's a time to think clearly and deeply about something. Now, this might be a personal concern, such as a romantic interest, a business situation, an important decision, or a more general invitation to update your records and your files, looking at your operating assumptions maybe, and seeing which of these things are still useful. There may even be beliefs about yourself. It is time to question, to investigate, to look deeply, to inquire. But this guy this night is air, and in the suit of swords, he's air, so it's the airy part of air. Now, what can happen here is you can have one idea tumbling over another, tumbling over and over another. And what this is actually asking you to do is to just make sure, and you'll be very good at creating ideas and coming up with things, there's no doubt about that during this period. But what this is asking you to do is to make sure that the solutions, the ideas that you create, can actually be put into practical effect, that you can make things happen, that the intellectual effort that you expend is not thrown away on a number of impractical opportunities. But you will do that, because I think what's happening is now that you're coming to a time of resolution of these things, then you move on and you live happily ever after by the looks of it. Let's have a look here. This is the Two of Swords. Yes, the Two of Swords. Well, for me, in the position that it is in up here, and with these other cards around it, it is the moon ruling the first decan of Libra. 23rd of September to the 2nd of October from memory. Now this I call the Lord of Peace restored. The moon ruling Libra. Well, this is a really happy combination. Do you know your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies? With the moon in the sign of Libra, you are likely to have a deep need for peace and harmony in your life. Well, that's no surprise after what we've just been talking about. And I think that Libra is symbolized by the scales, so it can relate to any area of your life which requires balance, and this can include your personal environment or things to do with work and income or your relationships with others. But the purpose of this card is about neutrality, being neither good nor bad, so about balance. But in the suit of air, there is some turmoil still hanging around, overtaken by this when I get to it, which is unsurprising because the suit of air comes from the marriage of the suits of fire and water. Now, it might be the situation that you have been, but I'd say having something of a hard time making up your mind about something. You can't really work out what is the right choice to take. Now, I don't think that this is anything acute at this stage. I think this energy of the moon is dissipating, it's moving as we get through this reading here. But it sits in the background, and it surfaces up now and then. It might be that you are dealing with the pros and cons of a situation. And you might also feel a little bit flat as a result. It might be that you lack the information that you need to make a right decision just at this time, but I think it does move on. But when you get it, and I think you are going to get it, the light is going to go on and you can see the situation for what it is, and you will then move to a much better position, moving there on top of the Chariot, which is down here. Yeah, it's about making the decision that is right for you, and I think you will do that. In what areas of your life are especially important to you? Because now you can come calmly to the necessary decisions. Deep peace will fill your heart. Now, the number 2, this Two of Swords here, is an interesting number in this respect, because we have the beginning of differentiation. You have the 1, which is unified, and then when you have 2, you've got differences, duality, and polarity. Now, there is a dynamism inherent in duality that isn't present in Swords before this. 2 can dance together, they can play, and they can fight, and they can make love. With 2, there is creative friction. Now, balanced really between the numbers of 1 and 3, the 2 is pulled in both directions. The inherent drive towards wholeness creates a magnetic attraction between two people, drawing them together to create unity. I think that this is reminding you that you can move beyond an orientation where duality means divisiveness, and appreciate how two can come together in harmony and beauty. Now, this could be 2 points of view, 2 ideas, 2 energy fields. It's about adding to each other rather than cancelling each other out. When you hold this perspective during an argument, for example, it is not a matter of who is right and who is wrong, but of seeing what part of the truth each person carries. This can lead to seeing a bigger truth than either of the arguing people could see alone. The ability to see something new or see in a new way is really what this is talking about and saying that you will have. So it's a good time to look at how you are relating to differences, especially in the mental realm, because this is in swords. Are you stuck in a polarized position, or are you open to other points of view? Can you let differences be enriching rather than threatening? Can they open the way for new ideas and creative solutions? And I think these creative solutions are things that you will do now. You see, because things turn around rather dramatically. Well, you'll see this happening to you anyway, because here we have this card, which is the Chariot. Going to focus, Chariot. Well, what a perfect card to have turned up in your spread with these others around it as well, because it speaks of things moving forward and turning around for the better. This is the child of the power of the waters, the lord of the triumph of light. The astrology for me is the moon ruling Cancer with Jupiter, your sign, exalted. So I think what this is saying to you unequivocally is that you are going to have victory over adversity. Now, you have come through something of a difficult time. This moon card here has demonstrated that to me, I think. But you're now, even though you've come through this difficult time, you're overcoming it. More importantly, you now have the courage to act. It's all very well having the idea to act, but you need to put action into practice. You need to have the courage to act, and you will do. I think also that you will have success over previous negative patterns. I think there may well be a focus on self-discipline here. There's a lot of Cancer around this card, as I've said. It's the moon ruling Cancer. And crabs tend to sometimes, well, take things pretty easy, don't they? Whenever you see a crab, very often it's just doing nothing. And so I think that this could well also augur for you a period of rest and contemplation, a period of recuperation as well, but definitely things are going to be moving forward. Your ideas, your mind is now becoming settled. The anxiety is disappearing. You are having a higher self-esteem in yourself. You're moving towards higher goals. But like the crab, you will remain in the position where you have that crab's shell of protecting yourself. There is incoming change here which is going to, which does promise to lead to a positive phase in your life. Ready yourself for this. Put your affairs in order. Examine the possibilities that are open to you, because you're going to leave a lot behind. And ask yourself, what area of your life will be changing? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? Maybe look for or create for yourself a loving, secure environment, because there you can make plans and plan the change or journey that's now coming before you. I think your body also needs attention and activity at the moment. And I'd have this thought in mind, really, and that is that I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause, and I accomplish things well and with ease. I am putting my life in order and preparing for the new beginning. Well, let's have a look at your final card, which is the First Lady of the American Theatre, by the looks of it, the Queen of Wands. Another great card for you to have in your spread for this month. I have a lot of Aries around here. I have a lot of Pisces as well. I think that is because I see with you the spirituality and sensitivity of Pisces with the ambition of Aries. Now, that can sometimes lead for something of a rough ride, but nothing that you won't be able to handle. I think that this is a person here who is adaptable, someone with persistent energy, a calm authority, powers of attraction. You're going to be very attractive to other people during this period. I think you might find that you are generous, but I think it's also the case that you may well be intolerant and impatient with opposition. Yes, Pisces and Aries I'm getting around here. Pisces gives her sensitivity and, well, inspiration. And I think that's what's coming from these cards as well. You're getting that inspiration. Here's the sensitivity from there. And Aries is going to give you leadership and self-confidence. She is the queen of the thrones of flame. This is a time, I think, where you will be going through a process of self-discovery and remembering your power. You got to where you are, haven't you? By resolving difficulties and anxieties in your head. You've overcome those in the past, and now you are a stronger character as a result. This is a time for you to express your natural power and beauty and move on from things that are in the past. This is someone here, I think, who knows what she wants, and you will know what you want, and I think you'll have quite an active life. You're definitely going to be making a powerful first impression. As I say, you are going to be very attractive physically and in character as well to other people. I think what we can say is that you have worked on yourself and made progress. It's time to learn how to share this with others. Let your self-realization be expressed in your daily life. How can you share what you've found for yourself with other people? Have this thought in mind because it definitely applies to you during this period. I am a radiant light being filled with light and with love. Well, what a fantastic spread of cards for you. Well done, Sagittarius. Good job. Well, that's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, September 2020, another month and a step closer to the end of the calendar year. Let's all keep our spirits up, shall we, during this time. I think there's some aggravation yet to happen, but you are going to be fine according to that reading, and that's the most important thing. And in any event, I want you until next month to remember one thing always, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.